This year, the Operation Four Winds Tour will be inviting believers across the U.S. to take their place in the story of the restoration of Israel. 2,000 years ago, 120 Jewish disciples waited in the upper room. The fiery wind of the Holy Spirit roared and shook Jerusalem, and the world would never be the same. From Judea and Samaria to Antioch, Rome, and ultimately the four corners of the earth, the gospel has brought salvation to millions of people, and it shaped governments, kingdoms, and history along the way. But back in Israel, the temple was destroyed, Jerusalem was trampled down, and the Jewish people were exiled from their land. While the Lord has been gathering the Gentile nations to himself, Israel has been scattered, plundered, and left for dead, waiting for their promised restoration. Romans 11 says that the same fiery gospel that shook Jerusalem and brought life and riches to the Gentiles, in the end will be received by Israel. Today, Gentile believers from all over the world are awakening to their God-given call to take the blessings they've received back to where it all began. According to Ezekiel 37, the breath of God will come from the four winds and breathe on the whole house of Israel, and they will live again. When Jerusalem was restored in 1967, God poured out His Spirit afresh in the U.S. with the Jesus movement. Since then, Jews in Israel and around the world have been receiving their Messiah, and the winds of restoration are blowing stronger than ever before. We invite you to join us as we gather in 12 cities across the U.S. for a holy convocation. Just as the 120 waited in Jerusalem, we long for another outpouring. Come as we gather in one heart, one mind, as the one new man, to worship the King, bless and support the restoration of Israel, and ask the Lord for His winds to blow across the U.S. once again. Now is the time to stand together. 12 cities, 4 winds, 1 King.